Hey everyone, welcome to LimitLess Radiocast, episode 95. Chad and I had the great honor to sit down with Haisam Rida, an up-and-coming professional grappler. This young man is amazing. If you didn't see him at Adcc 2022, you are missing out. Listen, we get into some awesome conversation with this young man about how he moved as a young age, how he got into jiu-jitsu, and what the future is, because he's switching over to B Team. Everyone, sit back, relax, throw those headphones on, and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, this show is also being brought to you by some awesome sponsors. You got RollAmongUs.com, OldBonesTherapy.com, 28bands.com, BJJ Foundation, Lashley Nutrition, BattleBomb.com, Thomas Webb at DHoff Realtors, Dan Candry Law, Magic City Brewing Company.com, located in Akron, Ohio, MNHBeans.com, and Tax and Accounting LLC by Ronald E. Butler. Listen, guys, these sponsors have helped us tremendously to continue this show each and every week. We're reaching 18,000 people on just Reels alone. It is amazing what we are doing, and we're doing it all because of you. So please, support our sponsors as much as they support us. Now enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. So Chad and I have the great honor to hang out with an awesome up-and-coming professional grappler, I would say, Haisam Rida. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He reps and trains out of now B Team Jiu-Jitsu in Texas, I believe. And Haisam, you can correct me on anything I say incorrectly. Yeah. He started his journey in 2010. I consider him, and I think many of the masses consider you, as a professional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. He was born in Ghana, which is awesome. We'll get into some, in Ghana. Yeah. So Haisam, thank you so much, man, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it very much.
Hey, once again, man, thanks for having me on the podcast. I've been looking forward to it.
Yes, for sure. How's training going for you now, man? How's jiu-jitsu treating you these days?
I mean, like, jiu-jitsu has always been, it's been fun going training in and out. It's like, that's the reason why I kept doing it for this long.
Sure, yeah, right on.
But like, after Adcc, I kept like kind of going, competing like back to back. I wouldn't call it a slam, but not a very good performance right after that. So, and since my last competition, I think January, I just kind of like decided to take a break and, just planning the move to Austin and all that stuff, and just working on new stuff. So yeah, I just been having fun, man. Just having fun lately.
Good. Hey, man, don't sell yourself short either for taking a break. As Chad and I have talked about this show, we're older. So just to let you know, Chad is my coach. So I'm a blue belt, and Chad's he's a black belt, obviously, and he's my coach. But we talk about this all the time. Like, sometimes you get burned out. Sometimes you go through that masses of constantly doing stuff. And if you played any other sport in your life, you know this.
Oh yeah.
So, like, sometimes it's like, you know what, I need to back away, focus on myself, focus on some other stuff. So good on you for recognizing that, man. I mean,
sure,
it's hard.
That's the decision, and that so far it's been good. I'm working on new tricks, and
good.
That like edge, the almost like the itchiness to want to compete again. I have it back, because it's like back in like when I did the Who's Number One after ADCC, it felt like I had to do it, kind of thing. It's like pressure, like,
sure, right.
Had the bars, people were like messaging me, "Oh, I can't wait to see you compete again." I felt like I was obligated to like compete again right away. Mm-hmm. I wasn't mentally there yet. But just like taking the break outside, and then now it's just like, man, okay, I kind of miss it again. Let's get it. So, and I'm very dangerous when I get to this point, so let's get it. I'm excited.
That's good.
That's awesome.
Good, yeah. Getting over that, this. I mean, you've practiced and trained and been involved with jiu-jitsu for a long time now, enough to know where you get that itch, and then you kind of need to scratch that itch, so
it's exciting. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to be out there. And like I said, man, I'm not in a rush. And this year's been kind of quiet anyways, like,
sure,
like the grappling, professional grappling wise, like Flow Grappling, Who's Number One, only had one show so far. UFC Fight Pass hasn't done so many shows. They only had that the one they had in December, and nothing yet. So I think it's kind of a good year to kind of like just work on new stuff, make a move, just see what's next. And the ultimate goal, I would say, is like, of course, ADCC 2024.
Yeah, right on.
The preparation already started since that weekend.
Yeah.
In Vegas. And to me, it's like, maybe like I had one of the biggest moments in the ADCC, which, yeah, I admit that, and that. But at the end of the day, you can ask my boy, like David Garn, was like, the weekend I was kind of like down by the end. I didn't go out for
I'm
that.
sure.
It's like, I was like, man, I just went 1-2. And I still lost 2 in a row. And
right.
It's not a good record, even though I had a good submission start. I can be content with this,
Yeah.
And some would say I beat myself up, but hey, that's what keeps me going, So
yeah, I mean, that's what's going to keep any major athlete going too. And like you said, I mean, you started on the high of all highs on armbarring a legend like you did, right? So, I mean, that pressure was there for you right away after that match, I'm sure.
I felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But like, again, after, like, some emotions were kind of new to me. Like, I've been there before, like, some were like definitely new. I didn't expect, for 14,000, it was say, like,
I was gonna say, yeah, like,
yeah,
obviously that's the biggest ever, right? That we know.
Exactly. It got to me a little bit, and it was new to me, but now, see, I'm a veteran to that emotion, so I'm gonna try to like use it. I know what to expect, because I don't think it's gonna get any bigger than that,
Yeah,
sure.
So yeah, it's only good stuff from here, and I'm excited, man, and like, especially with the move to B team, like, just working with different type of athlete, like with Craig Jones, like working on my weakness, which. My weakness, if you've been following my career, definitely been the leg lock side. I got my time to work and train from, scratch, which I'm super excited with. So, yeah, and I'm just gonna squeeze everything in as quick as I can and then get out there.
Good. That's awesome. I'm proud to hear you say that, Sam, because not a lot of people have that opportunity, especially in our world. We talk about our world being big but small. So we're close. Because BJJ practitioners try to be as close as we can. We respect each other because it's a hard sport. We know this. It's not easy to go in and get choked and armbarred and manipulated all the time, and then have it done to you and do it to other people, so on and so forth. But to be on that stage like ADCC, think about all the professional athletes out there that weren't on that stage. They're awesome. And you made it on that stage, man. So just build on that. Just take that and be like, you know what? I got this. Sure. Just come on, take this to the ceiling now, or not even the ceiling. Like, you have no ceiling. I tell every professional athlete all the time, like, don't put a ceiling on yourself. You've already built your floor. So just keep rising up, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're in a great place.
I'm gonna blow through that ceiling. That's for sure.
Good, man. What was that was it a big decision to go to B team with like leg locking and stuff? I know obviously, Jones and everybody that they have on that team is very good at the leg lock game. And obviously, if you feel that you're lacking, and I tell people all the time, like, professionals, it's different.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I'm a very competitive guy, and
sure,
I am very, very aware of, like, my weakness, and the thing is, like, after a while, you just know what your weakness is, and almost like you can hide anymore type of thing.
Sure.
And at, like, the level where it's like, okay, and one of my last hoops number one performance is like one I'm trying to, like, forget, but, like, keep in mind at the same time, or like getting caught in like 24 seconds is like one of the most embarrassing events I've been in, or like moments in my career. And, like, after a while, I'm like, man, it's just like, I felt the highest of the highs in like a couple of weeks ago, like, to now, like, the lowest of the low. And, like, and sometimes you just gotta admit to yourself, man. And I just knew it was time to make a change. I just knew it was time to make a change. And, like, you don't want to be like the top dog where you are.
Yeah,
sure.
And,
right.
2 years ago when I got here, like, my wrestling game, everything was just like mediocre at best. Like, I had nothing. I came here, I made a great connection, like the Midwest wrestling, like all that stuff really, really helped me. And even my initial Nogi game, because I never used to be the Nogi guy like that, I kind of transitioned into it because it was where I kind of made more of my name. So I was like, okay, why not? So yeah, 2 years ago I was at the moment, but like I really improved fast. Like guys like Jake Herbert helping me with my wrestling. So yeah, I owe them a lot, and it was a tough decision for me. Yes, and even just like let's put jiu-jitsu aside, man. Jiu-jitsu doesn't like really even matter. Like just the relationship I built around here. Like my guy David Garmo. I'm sure you know our history.
Yeah.
We knew each other since Japan and like training partners. And when I was looking to move out of Japan, that was 2020 when shit was rough. Like everything was rough.
Yeah, everything was closed down. It was, for sure.
Like, man, fuck it, let's do it. Not many people were willing to, risk at that time like that, and that's
Sure.
like went that far for me. And like we still have a special relationship, don't get me wrong. But to even bring that up to him to start that conversation that, hey, I might want to make a move, but like it was a tough one,
Yeah.
Luckily, he's just like he's super supportive, and and when I was telling him, he was like, "Man, I would have been pissed if he never brought this up to me." And to me, I was like, "Wow, all right, I really really respect that." And so it's always gonna be like respect, and even he knows that it's time to make a move too,
Sure.
To get to want to be one of the top guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's my dream. I gotta be realistic with myself. I gotta be in the room that's gonna help me get there faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a tough decision, but I'm lucky everybody around me, it's real love and they support me. Even though we're sad, we're gonna be leaving each other. But hey, how many times the guys are gonna be in Austin,
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now, and I'm gonna be visiting from time to time. So yeah, it's a tough decision. Was the one that was needed to be made. So yeah, I'm at peace.
Good. And that's man, you did it the right way. You talked about it. You know what I mean? Like you went to him and you talked, you just weren't like, hey, see ya, I'm out. Like you explained the situation, you talked it over. Like there is a different level between a practitioner doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu and a hobbyist and a professional. Professionals have to make different decisions that are very hard versus a hobbyist leaving one gym to go to a next. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? There's a difference between you and me. I'm a hobbyist. You're a professional. So, like you got to make those decisions that are going to best impact your career in your life. I tell people all the time, man. And like if sometimes you got to have those uncomfortable conversations with people. But a lot of times, 99% of the times when you have them uncomfortable, there's more respect and it builds a relationship even better. And then they support you even past that point. They're like, I want to see great things for you to come out of this and everything that you end up doing because you came to me and talked to me and I understand you're lacking in this. So let's go to where you can get good at it, so that's good on you, man. I mean, hey, you know what it's like now to be professional. You're in it. You want to be that guy in the room. So you got to make that decision,
100%.
And I know maybe down the line, there's going to be more of this. So I got to just be fair with that,
Yeah. And you just don't know what, Haisam, you're what, 29 years old?
Yeah. 29.
Yeah. You have so many years of professional grappling in your future, clearly. But you played a lot of soccer when you were younger, right?
Yeah. I mean, coming from Medina, Accra, like Ghana, that's all we got.
That's all you got. Right. Did it help you make that transition at all into BJJ?
Oh, yeah. I think, man, it definitely did because I had like a unique movement when I first started.
Like body awareness, right?
Awareness, the way my footwork, and like just the way I just switch my body, like just moving, switch. Like I remember my Japanese coach, Yamada-san, just telling me, yeah, you just got the dynamic movements. I had no idea at the time. So I would say those came from soccer, that's for sure. Just like the practice I used to do. And I was like coming fresh from like soccer to like jiu-jitsu. So it's like my muscle at the time. I was only 15, 16 years old. Like everything was that. Yeah.
Sure.
That was the 10, yes.
That's wild. Yeah.
So coming from Ghana, like I moved to Japan at 15. So I was like a neighborhood star, I'll say. So everyone who knew me growing up, like they're just like surprised, like, man, you fight now? How?
Like, what's going on, man?
yeah. But like things changed when I moved to Japan, man. And like, that's when I found jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I got into soccer. I don't know how much it helps, but I think it definitely did play the factor, and I can just turn it on. I slow things down and I can just turn it up.
Sure.
slow it down and turn it up fast. And I think those the soccer like feints, slow the ball down, like that's sprints, blow past the opponent type of thing. Yeah, those are type of
that quick muscle twitch. Like you have that quick muscle twitch that it's harder. I mean, from a professional standpoint, it's harder for like a hobbyist to have that if they're not like instantly like coming from a sport that where they use those fast twitch muscles. Like you have that build already. And Chad, you and I have talked about this before.
Yeah.
You know, wrestlers, obviously they come in and, you know, they have that no quit. They're really raw. Or you have guys like you that have played like a high level, high cardio sport that's twitch, go, go, go. It helps in jiu-jitsu because you can kind of transition. Now, technique, yeah, it doesn't. No one gets good at technique until they keep doing it, you know, and then, you know, like that's just that, and you pick it up. I mean, obviously, but being kind of conditioned in those other ways. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's different. I just had a talk with one of our blue belts, Jamal, who played college football, right? And, you know, in the past, we were worried about wrestlers coming over and dealing with wrestlers, right? Now we're dealing with D1 professional athlete type guys, right? Like it's a whole different ball game now.
Yeah, and like these guys, some of them, they come to jiu-jitsu, like especially the no-gi scene, and they be thriving off the bet, you know, like
right.
Already like belt, you know, and like we're saying, techniques does work, but sometimes I think, man, strength and like plays a huge factor too, man.
Oh man, being an athlete, right? Like
it's just being an athlete, yeah.
Having the speed, athleticism, like just the strength to hold somebody down. Yeah, it goes a long way.
Long way.
That's what, like watching ADCC this year, and I've shared this before on the show some. And Chad knows this. This is the first year I've watched like all of it. Like I watched, you know, the Absolute that was on the early, like on Thursday. I was just like, wow, I'm like, you know, I was just enamored with it as much as I could watch it. And I walked away going, that's the greatest thing I've ever saw in my life because of you athletes that put on the show for one. And then the athletes of what they could do and how they could do it. And I'm just like, yeah, this sport is growing and it's great. And I can't wait to see what the future's like. Like, because it's going, isn't it?
I feel like jiu-jitsu is becoming like that type of like the sport where like kids are gonna be like, yeah, I want to be like Gordon Ryan or something.
Yeah,
like that.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think it's only gonna get bigger. And I just say I'm lucky enough I did it long enough to start, you know, enjoy some of the fruits, I'll say, because man, when I first started, I didn't know my goal was to be a world champion, like a gi world champion, maybe someday.
Sure.
And you know, start doing seminars. That was my goal, or like my plan to earn money, or like open a gym down the line. But you know, you never know. And now it's like a mainstream team now. So yeah, I'm just excited to be here to get the opportunity to dominate.
That's awesome. The steps towards your goal, and that's called a, you know, I want to say a dream, but like your end goal, you're closer than you were 10 years ago or whatever it may be because of where you're at now and the effort and the stuff that you put into it. So that's huge, man.
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask you, what do you think about all the stuff that's like always enamored on Instagram? I'm just going to use Instagram. I always say social media, but I don't think anybody else uses anything else anymore except Instagram.
Maybe TikTok.
Yeah, maybe TikTok. Yeah. What do you think about all that? Like about the amount of jiu-jitsu stuffs out there? Like we talk about this. I like to get a professional's opinion on it. We talk to great coaches, great hobbyists and whatnot. From a professional standpoint, do you think it helps or hurts the community?
I don't know. I think for me, like as a, you know, an athlete with like a certain type of body type, or what I notice is I think it makes or it gives more varieties to the student, especially people who are like new into it. Because for example, I'll be getting messages and like a lot of it's like, hey, I just started jiu-jitsu. I'm 6'5". I did this before. You know, like, how do you do this? Like, I want to like learn this type of you. So I feel like the social media helps them like figure out the type of like athlete they want to like, you know, imitate in a way. And it made it easier for a learning process. But at the same time too, just having too much information can be overwhelming. And, you know, there's always a downside to that. But I think there's going to be the positive to it. So I think, it makes it easier for, you know, especially the guys who are new to it to like see who they want to imitate and like, make it easier. And for us, like the athletes, it makes it easier to be supported by, guys who like learn from us directly or something like that. So yeah, I say there's more positive to it than bad, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I think for the athlete, it's probably even bigger to put you on, have your platform where people can get in touch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I sent you a message, and with 10 minutes, you messaged me back, and we set up a seminar.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't. When else could you do something like that, right?
Like, I don't know though, from like instructor standpoint too. But at the same time, I feel like just giving the student the freedom, to have to be able to like learn new stuff, not like the traditional way, just like, hey, this is how you do a hip escape. This is the only way. It must be this
way. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Like the cult type jiu-jitsu way of things, I don't think it's now. So I feel like, with all this fanatics out here, like assembly, for example, we got 2 classes in a week where just students come in, instructors just hang around. They come in and just drill all the techniques that they've been working on, something new, which it's a very one of the coolest things we do right now, because like all the students who come along just hanging out, talking, sharing ideas. I feel like it helps with their own creativity too, because you think of it in a deeper level than just one way of doing things, So yeah.
That's awesome. I never heard it that way, Chad. Like we've talked about this so many times, Haisam, and like you look for the athlete that you want to emulate, or that would fit your style or fit your body more. Yeah. We've never had anyone ever say that. Like I always ask that question, and I'm like,
yeah, honestly,
dang, he has a really good point.
I never really think about it, but then I get the same messages like that. Whoa, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe people are paying attention more than I thought. So yeah, that's
yeah, that's true. Because I mean, you have the variety of, obviously height and weight classes. And if you guys didn't put that out there, the masses of people, if we didn't have this platform, let's say, the masses of people wouldn't really have anything to go through just through what they're doing in their gym. They wouldn't be able to maybe experience other things, obviously instructionals, but wow, that's a good positive way of looking at it versus going, there's too much out there, which obviously we know that there can be too much out there.
Overwhelming. Yeah. I don't know, maybe just like the way I'm thinking is just like, okay, I only like trying to study the type that suit my game. Maybe I'm just thinking from a professional standpoint, but
no, I think that's true. And Terry, I bet if you asked, our guys at the gym that are really into watching jiu-jitsu, I bet if you asked them all, without even knowing, they migrate to a certain person, right?
Yeah, sure.
Just because, when I came up, I liked Ryan Hall a lot because he was long and lanky and did a lot of triangles. Yeah, so, I watched him a lot.
Yeah, I studied Keenan Cornelius a lot when I was like, back in the day. I think I discovered him like when he was a brown. I was still like blue belt at the time. He was lanky too, and he used a lot of lapel guard. And I'm still like I'm still a member on his what's it called online, Keenan Online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice. And I've studied everything like what's it called, the lapel system and all that stuff. So it really makes sense to like look someone who looks like you or doing something that, and then try to imitate it. Or like, but I guess though, like style is for everybody. So you can
I love that.
Everyone is still for trying to forge it or merge it into your game. So yeah, that's not an excuse. It's not that many 6'5" people out there. So yeah, hey.
No, I know there's not. No, you. And for everyone out there that doesn't know, Haisam's nickname is the Giraffe. So, it's like, you have legs for days, man. Like I think you play in soccer. I'm like, what? He's like, you take like 5 steps, you're like halfway down the field.
Hey, I was fast too. I was fast.
I bet.
I was fast. I don't know now. Looking back, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But like, I had the nickname Computer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like growing up my soccer days, because I was just like the fastest kid on the field, man. Like, I don't know if you guys know what the true pass is. Like, I was the striker, so.
Oh, okay.
Every true pass, I would just like blow past the last defender and blah. And I just got a computer. You were just so fast. I don't know if it was or because I was getting stuff so fast. I mean, at the time, maybe the fastest thing we could think of was like computers. So yeah, I guess
That's awesome. No,
That's good. Yeah.
that is very good. Yeah. I mean, it fits the bill, you know. It's like now, like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're using your length. And if you watch, I mean, you know this, but if Chad and I watch your matches and whatnot, you're very good at using your length. You utilize what's there.
I watched some matches the other day. I saw some nice ankle picks. Those ankle picks are nice.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like,
my
it's
ankle
instantly.
in the gi was killer. You know, ankle picks in the gi was really killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often you put the gi on now? Uh-oh.
Actually, I did put it on recently. What was that? I went to Dion Thompson's place.
Oh yeah, Dion. Yeah, we know Dion.
I think we visited, just to get some going in, like before I left for Austin. That's my I call him my jiu-jitsu dad.
Yeah.
I remember just when I first saw him in Ohio, and David was like, "Yo, guess how old is he?" And I guessed wrong, and David told me he's like, nah, there's no way he's 50. He looks, and to me, I looked at him to see someone that tall in a gi, kind of like the first time doing jiu-jitsu. There's no jiu-jitsu in Ghana, so
yeah,
that's not there. Maybe in Japan we don't see that many. So, and my dad never really put a gi on, so to me, I was like, okay, that's my jiu-jitsu dad.
That's awesome.
That's awesome for sure.
And I talked to him. It was good vibes since day one, and then man, yeah. So it was cool to get to catch up the other day. So that was the last time I was in a gi.
Okay, he's a good one to train with too for you, because I mean he's he's like 6'5" too, I believe. Yeah. He's close. Yeah. Oh, we just saw him a couple weeks ago. We had a local tournament, and he had a team come down. Dion came down, and yeah, he's alumni of the show. He's been on the show before. Go ahead, Chad.
The OGC tournament. Dustin Ware from Columbus runs it. Ohio Grappling Challenge.
Ohio. Oh, okay. Is it like a super fight? You run a super fight, or
no? It was an actual tournament.
Just an open tournament.
Yeah, like a white belts
yeah.
up. Yeah,
white belts up. They had a couple black belts. I actually, Dion, I think he threw a gi on and did a match.
Did he?
Or no, it wasn't him. It was one of his it was one of his black belts. But I saw them as I was watching other guys, but it was just like a standard kind of open tournament. Local. It was the first time locally at a high school that's in our district. So it was good. It was a great job. Him and Dustin actually run the OGC together, or they come together kind of deal. And, so it's cool. It was very good for the community, and, obviously showing jiu-jitsu in this area, which it's getting bigger. Chad, you'd say, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Dion is so super loyal to the gi too, so which I respect. Go, let's get it.
Yeah. If he posts anything on Facebook or Instagram, it's we are a gi school. Which Chad runs East Coast. We're a gi school.
We are too. Yeah. I mean, we still do some no gi, obviously, but
I respect that.
For sure. And that's what when I set up the seminar, I kind of gave you like, hey, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Because if I had to pick, I'd probably pick gi, but I know you're you're into no-gi now, so that's what we got to go with,
Yes sir. I'm excited and looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yes sir.
Yeah, and that's going down next Friday. This show's
Friday.
The show's going to drop on Monday, so everyone.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to move some things around and get you on quicker to kind of people listen, have our guys listen to you a little bit and get hyped up for the seminar next week. So.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good one.
You already have planned what you're going to teach?
Yeah. I kind of think I'm just going to run it, give it a couple of variations, start with a couple of some of my takedown setups from the stand up, and just straight into setting up submissions, just like we saw in Adcc. And when everybody get a good warm up in, we get work on the stand up, a couple of 2-3 techniques, and then some of my go-to passes and finishing from the back too as well, and just balance things out. And then we get an open mat. I try to roll with as many people as possible.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Keep it nice and cool and fun.
Yeah. That's the fun thing that's the other thing too about taking a break off from jiu-jitsu. When we talked about it, not jiu-jitsu, but competing. Let's say from competing. Exactly. Sometimes it becomes not fun anymore. You know what I mean? It's there's too much pressure.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
Sometimes, like I said in the beginning, it's just especially right after ADCC, man, like I kind of blew up when it was.
Yeah.
I think I had like 17,000 going into that, and to me that was the most I've had. I finally like and it was a steady. I've been in the Instagram game for a long time.
Sure.
It was a steady climb, and then I remember when I first got to 10K, I was like, oh, I finally got a K on it. And every once in a while I get a who's number one, I get a good performance. I kind of like got a couple of hundred. Just a little bit. I think I had a shout out to Rogan one time, and I had like 5K. Boom.
Nice.
It's amazing how that platform can just,
Yeah.
just blow you up overnight, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And after that, I kind of like slowed down a little bit after that. But yeah, after ADCC was just crazy. And it's just like new messages every day and people wanting to compete. And I just felt the pressure, man. I felt the pressure. And it almost felt like, I had to do it. Like, oh man, I have to go out there, I have to put a show and all that stuff. I felt the pressure, but like you said, man, sometimes just pulling back a little bit, taking a break, realizing what new stuff, what I have to work on, taking the next steps. And yeah, man, it's more excitement now, and I'm having that edge to come back again.
Nice.
I'm at my best when I have this feeling, when I'm like, man, I can't wait to be back, and whoever they put in front of me is gonna be a long night type of thing. I'm putting on like a performance of a night type of show, and hey, you've seen it before, man. It's like I don't think anybody in the heavyweights wants to scramble with me. Nobody.
It's you have. I mean, it's
man, and so people try to slow that down, and guess what? When we're trying to slow things down, I'll figure things out too.
For sure. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Like, I'm glad to hear it for sure.
I'm excited.
When so ADCC trials, have they started yet? Or
no, not yet.
They haven't started yet, right? For 2024?
No,
the trials haven't started yet.
Later this fall, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think in the fall, right?
Is that when it is? Okay, in the fall for the following year. Okay.
Yeah, because they'll have East Coast, West Coast. Canada will have a trial. Brazil. I mean, everybody will have their trials, and I know the Vegas trials or the West Coast trials are going to be on Fight Pass this year, which is pretty cool too. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think Fight Pass took over ADCC. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Actually, yeah. I think Mo posted, or maybe Tom DeBlas posted with him, tagged him or whatever. I can't.
At least the trials, anyway.
Is that what it is?
So far?
Yeah, a lot of the opens are those going to be on the Fight Pass too as well?
I don't know if the open. Maybe. I don't know if they're going to show all the opens. I mean, it'd be really cool.
Yeah,
and it generates revenue, because I think that's another way. It's got to be right, but it's a way to showcase you as a professional athlete. You know what I mean? Like, showcase you and the other professional athletes. Like, we have to get it on a platform where more people will watch it and they're willing to pay to watch it, and so on and so forth. Generate, that revenue for you guys, in some fashion, at least, like, to where you can, capitalize on a sponsorship in another way, even if you're not getting any revenue out of that. Sure. But that way you're pictured, you're seen,
Hey, yeah, I'm not mad at it, man. Anything for a little bit of clout.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, man. Definitely.
Yes,
what's how much lifting do you have to do? Do you throw any weights around at all for training, or just straight jujitsu?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I've been like
I know you.
I've been in the weight room a lot lately. It's like, especially moving up to heavyweight, I know I have to be dealing with like a lot stronger guys. So and I've always been like the tall, skinny guy, because I was competing like at 205.
I was gonna say, I thought you were around 205, right? Yeah.
I was competing on the 205 when I got the invite, and hey, this is ADCC we're talking about. I wasn't gonna pick and choose.
No, right.
Right.
That's like, I might never get the opportunity again. I'm not gonna say, hey, Mo, you know what? I appreciate, but I think I don't want 90 plus 99. Can you somehow squeeze me in minus 99? I have that question when he said, hey, you might be getting in, but plus 99. Like, yo, I'm in. What are you saying? Are
For sure.
are you asking me right now? I'm like, yo, let's do it. So yeah. I knew I had to put on some weight. I knew I had to get to work right away. And I remember just like calling my guy Ty because, I was always trying to maintain my strength and just even whatever I knew I had just being healthy, avoiding injuries and all that stuff. So working out 4 times a week has been part of it. But like when ADCC is when I turn it on, because I need to put on some muscles.
And so for you being an athlete like you are and tall and slim, has it been hard for you to put size on in the past? Or? Yeah.
I always had that mindset of like, oh man, when I wanted to get weight, I'm just gonna gain weight. Nah.
Not happening. Huh?
I learned that the hard way. I think I gained I started the preparation from like April of 2022 to I guess I had 4 months to prepare, and I gained 15 pounds of muscles, man. So
okay.
Yeah, and the heaviest I got to was 228.
Okay.
And yeah, somehow in Vegas I weighed in at 225, and I was the lightest in the division.
You're like, what the heck?
I'm like, fuck, am I in the wrong room?
Right.
These massive guys.
It's just I know we all feel the same. We just don't talk about it. When
right.
You kind of size each other up,
For sure.
And I'm like, man, fuck, this guy looks big, And but man, it's just everything goes your way. Sometimes as an athlete, that's one of your biggest worries or anxieties, having a bad day. Even no matter how good you prepare and everything, just some days things don't go your way.
Sure.
But that ADCC weekend, things kind of went my way. And me and David, we had our game plan. We knew who we wanted potentially to match up with, where I was gonna be ranked because I was invited and all that stuff. And man, it just literally the day before on our list, for our game plan was Cyborg, man. And so when they mentioned Cyborg out and they mentioned my name, I just walk out with full confidence. I knew I had him. I knew I had it. You can go back and watch the weigh-ins and everything. When I spread my hands in front of him, I knew. I was like, okay, I'm going to beat you tomorrow. And, that night before, it was just and I saw, I was like, you know what, let me just go back and watch one more time. And it was... I think him and Victor Hugo, he had a 17 and he did that spinning move. So that was the last thing in my mind of him doing. And, I set up the 2-on-1. I didn't think he was going to go that fast. The initial color tie, I was like, man, this guy's strong as fuck.
That's what it's like. Yeah, he looked strong. So,
excuse my French. I don't know if I'm allowed
to.
No,
you're fine.
You could. No, you say anything you want. Yeah.
Yeah, and yes, sir. So yeah, last thing I saw was that, and man, everything was slowed down. Like I said, I had the underhook. I was like, man, let me just took him down. But nah, fuck it, I'm just going for the armbar. And yeah, it ended up being one of the best day of the weekend. So let's go.
The crowd, you can watch that thing 100 times. That moment when you do it and you get the armbar and the crowd erupts, and you're just like, okay. Who's that guy? Who just did that? And I know, figuratively speaking, outside of jujitsu, practitioners and or hobbyists don't, that kind of put you on the map. That was huge, that's a big deal, which that's awesome. And it's a moment. That's a moment where you build on that, so it's I didn't want to ask you, putting on that much weight, did it take adjusting your game and your jujitsu, or did it ever really affect you? I always wonder that too, Chad. I don't think we ever talk about that. Getting bigger, stepping up in weight, does it matter?
Yeah, that was our biggest concern going into it when we was trying to gain weight. But you know what happened though? When I started with everything with the weight, I used my body a lot. I gained more. I got faster when I was gaining weight, which was
wow, okay.
It wasn't normal. It wasn't
right. Yeah, this is not normal at all.
It's not normal, and I think my cardio at some point I felt I was getting a little tired faster than I was supposed to. and which I worked on a lot, get on the bikes, do all the rope work and all that stuff, which we fixed as fast as we could because we didn't have that much time. And yeah, I gained weight, I got faster, stronger for sure. My cardio was on point. So yeah, getting into that first fight, man, I felt untouchable, and something just happened right after that first fight, which I'm very aware of. And like I said, I'm a veteran now. I know what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to next time.
When's camp start for that next time?
Oh, hey, you already had the news.
Already on it, right?
Yeah, all in for real, and get the best guys. Imagine a year with Nick Rod in the same room, Craig Jones. Just yeah.
Yeah. When are you making the move? Completely, like to start on a regular.
So yeah, I'm gonna start the drive there. I think the ending of this month. So I should be in Austin by the end, like 27, 28-ish. In
okay.
Austin.
Nice.
I'm gonna be like looking for apartments, and then man, as soon as I get there, we start working. So just I'll say let's make it like May 1st.
Very cool. Very cool.
Beginning to ADCC Gold, May 1st.
You driving by yourself?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun one.
I was gonna ask, it's like you're going from Michigan to Texas, baby. Like that's a long drive.
Yes, sir. It's a long one, but I'm just gonna try to, take breaks in between and all that.
Yeah, for sure.
My time,
Can you imagine though that next ADCC, man, what your confidence is going to be like? I mean, after being in that room with B Team, and just to go back when you were describing how you felt when they called your name and Cyborg's name, like I got this. Like we've talked to a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, and I've been around a lot of athletes, and like sometimes you're like you can see that they don't believe what they're saying. But like when you're describing that, it almost gives me chills. Like I can see the confidence that you have in what you can do,
Yeah, yes, sir. Hey, for real.
And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool to see. There's no BS,
I feel like, man, the game needs me right now. Yeah, I'm one of the most exciting heavyweights right now. And needs to try to get closer
to for sure.
Aside, and it's very clear I'm on the B team sides, and the goal is to go all the way to the top. Care who's in the way, we're gonna clear it. And yeah, man, there's been a little bumps in the road. It's all good. We're gonna come stronger.
Is your plan to do under 99 next time, or are you gonna stick at the over?
I'm gonna stick out over. I
don't
go down anymore. The heavyweight life is nice.
It'd be too much, huh?
And the thing is, man, I'm gaining weight and then getting faster. It's a scary thing. So, it's a real scary thing. I still been maintaining that. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's very hard to do. Like I said, that's why I asked if you were comfortable. Like when you put that weight on, because when you get your shoulders get bigger, even if you're stretching, there's different. You can't move quite as right, sometimes, and you got to work on that. It's good to hear that that's not affecting you, and obviously being a professional, that helps a ton too, because you're able to do things
I'm a very flexible guy for my weight and everything. So yeah, I keep my routine. I stay with my routine, even though I was doing all the weightlifting. I kept my routine. I kept the agility going. So yeah.
Being 6'5" doesn't have anything to do with it, does it, Chad? Chad's tall and lanky too, and I joke all the time. Like, no, he's not that tall, but we're both around 6'1". He weighs 150 pounds. I weigh 230 pounds, and he, like, his foot will be like in my face when I'm passing, and I'm like, where did this foot come from? Like, it's not there.
Chad is one of those guys, huh?
Yes.
Like legs from out of nowhere. Oh man.
That's all I got, man. I'm not that big and I'm old, so I got to have some tricks.
Good tricks, though. Good tricks.
You gotta use what you got.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Haisam, do you remember your first time walking into a jiu-jitsu gym?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that memory comes back quick, doesn't
it? Yeah. Like that's one of the most humbling experience I had, bro. Like, it's funny, And just to get back a little bit, how I got into jiu-jitsu is like when I moved to Japan. in Japan is just like when you get there, I was 15 at the time, almost 16, and I was ready to start high school, but like, you know, if initially I was gonna go to international school, but it was way too expensive, so we decided
Okay.
to do the public one. And my Japanese level at the time was way too low to go get into school, So they were like, get your Japanese level up. So I had to wait for a year, just studying Japanese, waiting to get into it. So while waiting, that's when like jiu-jitsu came around, So I couldn't do any sports or anything like that. So my dad's boss was the one who was into jiu-jitsu, So when I met him, I was like, hey, why don't you give jiu-jitsu a try? To me, I was like, man, what's this? I was thinking like some karate stuff, some kicking, flying, so so like yeah, I had those thoughts in, and man, like I said, I just like coming from soccer, I just couldn't wait to get into high school to finally start my sporting activities and playing soccer, So I was like, you know what, I might just kill time doing something,
Sure.
So I decided to give it a try, and man, I already had just let's go see what it can do. And I had this cockiness of coming from soccer, like I'm the guy. Like, I wasn't this tall at the time. I was still like 6'1", something like that. Yeah, I was really very tall for a 15-year-old.
He's like, I wasn't as tall as I am now. I was 6'1". I was 15.
Yeah. It's crazy. I always felt like a giant when I got there. And I just saw people, I walk in, warming up, and I remember him just coming in, giving me my gi, and then showing me where to walk to. And then he went back. That was my coach, your mother son. They just starting the warm up. I just saw everybody. I was like, man, there's no way these guys can do anything to me. It's just like, I don't need training. I got this. Just like in my head, of course, I wasn't saying anything to anybody.
Sure, right.
I couldn't even speak the language that much at the time. So, but I just remember just like getting thrown around, and like anytime I try to get on my knees, I realize I'm on my back. I try to push them off. I'm straight into the number. Man, it was rough. And I just remember just having that experience of my first time in jiu-jitsu. That was like, okay, I gotta figure this stuff out. That's like my competitive nature came out. And yeah, I realized I started doing it, and I got into high school. I'm like, man, I'm hooked on this stuff. Yeah.
That, I love it. That hook that everyone goes through is, wait, I got to figure this out, because you realize like you don't know anything. You think you do it, and then you're like, I'm hooked. Like, I got to figure this out. And then you spend your entire life and you never really figure it out. You know what I mean? You just get better at it.
Well, and what's even better is that initial getting hooked is staying hooked, right? So this is my 19th year of jiu-jitsu, and it's I love it every day. I see something different, or I learn something new from everybody.
It's special, man, and also it's very humbling too.
Oh man,
oh yeah, by far. Yeah,
I remember getting humble real fast. Because I remember just repeating the same stuff. I think I got sweat from my knees to my back. And I just like, man, out of frustration, I just trying to push this guy off me and then straight into an armbar. So even in voice, I'm like, man, what the fuck was that? And it is like, man, and I was like, yeah, all right, let's figure this out. Let's figure this thing out. And through that, trying to figure it out, 13 years later, I'm still doing out stuff, still trying to figure things out. So yeah, let's go.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's why we love doing this. We love talking about it. We almost can't talk to anyone that doesn't do it, because they just don't understand.
They don't understand.
They just don't understand.
Yeah, you gotta be in it to understand, man. Yeah, I've seen people. I have friends, personal friends, man. They're like, man, I don't know about this jiu-jitsu stuff, man. Man, how you rolling on the floor all the time? Like, man, you don't worry about people sweating, like, man. Or like, especially when I was in Tokyo, I have friends like who are really hooked right now. But at first was just like how to get them through the door, man. And then now it's just, they are the ones who they will shut up about it. I'm like, yo. But yeah, stuff like that just makes me happy to see, man. And like, yeah, you get that feeling in jiu-jitsu, man. Jiu-jitsu is a special thing, and it's a fun to
it is.
And to me, I feel like every day I'm grateful and blessed. be able to call it a profession, you know.
Yes.
You know, hey, man's come a long way, and to finally be here, I'm not taking it for granted, and I'm going all the way, all in.
Nice. I want to ask you this, Haisam, if you don't mind. Is there anyone else from your country that trains or is jiu-jitsu at all in your country? It's a dumb question, kind of, because I don't know. This is why I'm asking.
No. Essentially, when I first started, there was nothing here like that. Finally, though, there's like, I feel like there's not living in Ghana, but like Ghanaians living in like another places who are into jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
You know, and I think there's one kid of New Wave right now, Asari or something like that. I kind of heard about him, and Asari is a very Asante name. That's like a very central of Kumasi of Ghana, you know.
Okay.
And I don't think he grew up in Ghana either. I don't think so. But Ghana in general now, Jiu-Jitsu is like finally starting to get like some gyms I heard about like started Jiu-Jitsu somehow, you know, run by like a purple belt. I don't know how legit it is,
Sure.
but sure, country as a whole, Jiu-Jitsu is not big, you know. No. Yeah.
That's, I mean, man, there you go. You're representing that. Do you ever go back? Have you gone back?
Last time I was back was like 2016, you know.
2016, so a little bit, but
like that's more often. It's especially Japan to Ghana, it's like a long ass flight. And my parents in making an excuse for sure, but like my parents are in Japan too, so and my brothers, like the whole family in Japan, so we didn't have like a huge reason. So why not? You know, my brothers are still in school and other stuff. So yeah, there's not like a big reason for me to try to travel back, and you know, it's a lifestyle too, just traveling all the time. You know, don't know what city you're gonna be out competing at. So yeah,
right.
I had the chance to like travel. But you know, when I had the opportunity, I wanna like represent my country. So, you know, the rash guard and everything, you know, the star on the chest, it all represents something, you know, and yeah, after the ADCC, especially, you know, even Ghanaian media's like reaching out, like asking questions like, whoa.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome because, I mean, you represent, listen, at the end of the day, not everyone in the world gets to represent their country or where they were born at. And there's a prideful thing there. You know what I mean? Like, you should be proud of that. Like, definitely, if anyone, you know, that's huge. That's a big deal, you know? So good on you for that. Your brothers train?
My younger brother, we started together, but nah.
What happened? You beat him up too bad? Like, this is what happened, right? Yeah, you did this to him, didn't you?
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. If you listen to this, I'm so but yeah, he's into soccer right now. He's in college and playing soccer. So yeah, he's doing okay, I guess.
Nice. Well, hey man, he's in college, right? And he's playing soccer in college. That's a big deal too.
Yeah. So
Haisam's brother, don't blame him. Don't yell at him. Just he's not down in your soccer, and you know, he just knows how to fight really good. That's all. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So they still live in Tokyo? Your parents
a little outside of Tokyo, but in Japan,
or in Japan. Okay. How hard was it for you when you first moved there, man, with the language? Everyone out there that's only listening, you didn't see his facial expression. You go watch it on YouTube, man. It's great. So obviously, the reason I asked, I work for a company, and we have a place stationed in Japan. Okay. So I deal with a lot of Japanese individuals. I work coworkers or a lot of coworkers, Japanese and stuff like that. So I love that when I found out you were there, I was like, oh, I wonder what that was like, because coming from where you came from and then, you know, having that barrier, that's a huge barrier. But
yeah, man, it's just like a huge switch. You know, I moved from when I was 15, obviously, just getting in Japan, and then you feel like all of a sudden I felt like I was bigger, you know, somehow, you know, but yeah, it was just weird, you know, like being in another place as a teenager.
That's a big transition. That's not like, as a teenager, that's huge, man. That's huge. That's like,
you know, and looking back now, you're like, fuck. Hey, some of them like good memories, fun memories. Some too was just like, yo, yeah, how are we gonna figure this out? You know, just like
Yeah.
I remember working outside and just looking at billboards and like, man, I have no idea what's written on this. You know, and do I have to like, you know? But initially too, I just didn't have that. Okay, I didn't have to learn Japanese because it was supposed to be a vacation, like for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Back home and then went to high school, pursue soccer or something like that. But you know, for the most part, my dad been working most of the time, you know, and he'll see the family when he can, but for his job kept him away from
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. But then he's like, man, I don't want this anymore. Let's all figure this out together, type of thing. So the plans changed. Okay, now I have to stay in Japan. Now I have to figure out to learn Japanese, you know, if I want to get to Japan because the international school was too expensive. So yeah, it was. I at first there was some point I'm like, I think, man, I don't think this is possible. But then, you know, one step at a time. And I was really young too, you know. That was my only thing to learn Japanese.
Sure, right.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't easy though, like that's for sure. You know, just like yeah, I was in my family and my mom was like had my youngest brother, you know, she was still pregnant when I got to Japan. So my dad
okay.
time. And then my youngest brother, he was like 8 at the time. So when we decided to like stay in Japan, he got into school much easier than I did. So for the most part, like I'll go to like just learn Japanese, come back home. That was my life, you know, when brother was in school and my dad would be in work and you know, it's either I'm like helping my mom with like my brother and stuff like that. And it was just like those like yeah, it became just me and my Japanese sensei, you know, for a whole year almost, and my family.
Oh,
Man.
wow. Okay.
That was it. You know, so
that's not a bad. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Now that you look back at it, at the time it was weird, right?
I was like to be like a teenager. I was like, man, I need friends. Like, how am I gonna talk to people? Like,
right.
So like it was those days when like jiu-jitsu came around. So in a way too, I kind of gave jiu-jitsu my all, you know, because like wow, all right, I got something to finally do now. So
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and not having like any responsibility, just having to learn jiu-jitsu, and I have that motivation that okay, if I want to go to like, I want to get into high school and play soccer. That was the initial plan at the time. I have to learn Japanese and pass the test within a year. You know, at first I thought it was a hard task, but like looking back now, like man, it wasn't that bad, really.
That's everything we do in our life. That's a lot of times that's what we end up doing, right? You look back and you're like, all right, that wasn't that bad. Like at first it's terrible. Like at first you're thinking there ain't no way I can do this.
Maybe if I went there and I have to figure out a way to like make a living, pay bills.
Sure.
And then on top of that, learn Japanese within a year.
Crazy.
Man.
That's crazy.
Like a different level, but you know, but everything else also was just much easier. It wasn't that easy, so yeah, it's definitely isolating sometimes, but yeah, it was part of life, nothing crazy.
Sure. Hey, we all go through different things like that, so that's good, man.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, I think we've taken an hour of his life, Chad. Go ahead, Haisam. What'd you say?
You've been to Japan yourself, or you just work?
I have not been to Japan for anything outside of work. So it's like, yeah, let's do this. Go stay in hotels, go in meetings, and then be done.
Oh, really?
That's not that. Other than that, it's like not like exploring or anything. Have not had any opportunities like that. But yeah, for straight work stuff. And it's been years. It's been 12 years. Roughly 12 years. I've been with the company. Yeah, because I've been with the company for 20. I'm in my 21st year that I've been doing what I do now. So yeah, but it's normal. Like it's a normal.
Yeah,
it's you don't even see. It doesn't even seem like it's different. Very much, obviously traditional and stuff like that. It's like having tattoos. So I didn't have all these tattoos 12 years ago. I had some, but that's a big thing too. And we've talked about it on the show before. Like
tattoos, those are super sick.
Yeah, thanks, man. Like it's all Chad's fault. I'm gonna blame him.
Not my fault.
Oh man.
Because
I think it too, man.
Yeah, it's his fault.
Yeah.
See, I had a couple tattoos when I started jujitsu, and then this awesome man beside me over here on this show was like, "Hey, you ever gonna get more tattoos?" And I'm like, "Nah." And then he's like, "Oh, check out this and check out this." And then he's like, "When are you gonna get the team tattooed on you, like the shield?" And I was like, "I don't know," and I'm an all-in guy, and obviously, next thing you know,
aren't we all?
Yeah, I have the team shield.
Test.
What's that?
That was a loyalty test to get a team tattoo.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And now we've dominoed affected. Like we got a lot of guys who have it tattooed on them now.
Yeah.
And to being a hobbyist, like I'm 45 years old. I'll be 46 years old here in a couple months. I'm a blue belt. So I got promoted to blue belt last summer or in the fall. And for me,
congratulations.
Thank you very much, man. I tell people all the time, I'm like, it may be the hardest thing to go from white to blue because you just doubt yourself eventually towards the end. Like you never think you're going to make it. And then when you do, you're like, okay, I do belong here. At least for me, that's what I did. I was like, oh, I do belong on this mat. Like forever, I thought I didn't belong here.
Hey, if you got to make it past blue ball though.
Oh yeah. Then don't quit. Obviously.
Yeah. I still can't trust you yet.
Yes, I know. I haven't made it past that. I haven't got any stripes or anything yet. So I haven't made it past that. And everyone tells me that all the time. They're like, you haven't quit yet? They're like, well, come see me in 6 months or come talk to me again. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah, that's super sick though. That's super sick.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just like, for me, it was an emotional thing in terms of doing jujitsu more than I thought of family wise, like gaining a family, like getting that family that, like that's just, you can't explain it to people.
It's very hard. And like we were talking about earlier, you were asking me it's a tough decision. Yes, like put everything aside. that family culture you gotta get.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, hey guys, I'm leaving the family. That was one of the hard conversations to have. But again, I just had the right guys around me. They made the conversation easier and very supportive. So yeah, but I feel you though. I feel you about that family kind of culture you have, in the two community, especially among teams sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like Terry said earlier, you did it the right way.
Yes, sir.
That's a hard conversation. And, over the years, I've had a lot of guys switch and go to other gyms, but it's like, come talk to me, it's okay. But it's a hard conversation, but I'd rather have that hard conversation than find out a different way.
This is my third team I'm joining, I've started, and I feel like my maturity level too is growing every time because I was that type of guy. My first team that I left, he was at the Adcc. He watched our life. My coach, my first coach, Yamada Shigetaka, is one of my proudest moments. If you ask me, I'm like just him being there. He introduced me to jiu-jitsu, and him being there, one of my biggest moments. Mm-hmm. It's something I'm gonna remember for a while. But anyways, like he got me into jiu-jitsu. We had issues. I was outside of Tokyo at the time. I was in Kanagawa. And I was purple belt at the time. I spent like 4 years at purple belt. He was brown belt at the time. He couldn't promote me. There was a lot of issues, and there was just time that I grew out. I outgrew the gym. Everybody was like, "Yo, it's time to make a move if you want to take this seriously." And just not having that maturity level, I had the conversation. He was like, "This is a surprise to me." I literally told him he would want to join. Like, hey, now I'm leaving you tomorrow type of thing. And to me, at the time, I thought that was the escape for me, and that was in the right way. And he was like, yo, of course he opposed on that. But then I ended up just leaving.
Yeah.
I said, without him, like, really getting his blessing or anything, which I obviously I learned a lot from. And like I said, as the years go by, my maturity level, I reach out. We're on good terms now and my second team, Carpe Diem, it became the same team. I was looking to move on. And for the first time, I finally did the right thing. And then again, so like I said, I might go through it again in the same situation. So I feel like the more I mature, the more I'm more comfortable taking this kind of hard decisions, I'll say.
Sure.
And just doing it to just do it, when it's like the right thing to do. And I think I'm at the level where it's just like it's time to go all in, So yeah.
And you're making the best decisions for yourself. Like I'm sure you have good people surrounding you, helping you and talking to you and whatnot. But you're a professional athlete. It's like, hey, I can't go to that team for whatever reason. That's if you speak of any other sport, it's the same exact thing. Like you have to make the best decision for yourself and your family and whatever it is you're going to do. It's not like me leaving East Coast and being like, hey, I'm going to go down the street. Hey, Chad, see you later. Like, oh, you're going to go be a professional or whatever, no, like, why would you leave? Like, why would you leave the gym? Like, it's a good gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different for you versus me, like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to hit 30 this year, it's like, I don't have that much time on my side. So.
Right. Exactly. Like,
so it's now or never. So I'm going all in, so yes, sir.
Sure. Awesome. Very good. Great stuff, man.
Yeah.
We've kept you for an hour, brother. We
it went by fast.
It usually does. It's always surprising when you sit and you just start talking and
I know.
It's kind of like, wait a minute.
Like there's a couple of times I feel like, man, you're talking too much. I kind of like went off course, but yeah, let's see. Hopefully.
Oh no, you did
Don't
great.
worry about that.
You don't ever worry about that. But with our show and the way that we do it, this is exactly what we want. We want you to be comfortable and talk in any way that you want to talk and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Just for platforms for the BJJ community to listen to, people that they respect, people that they look up to. You're an athlete in our profession. You're a professional athlete in our community that others need to hear from, see your story, talk about like your different feelings and stuff like that. I think it's important for people to see that. And it's a blessing for us to have you on the show. It's an honor,
It's awesome.
Thank you for having me, like, thanks for reaching out on Instagram. Like we set up the last minute thing. Again, I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. Of course, got some more time with you, Terry, no Messi.
Right on. Yeah.
I'm gonna do with it after. Looking forward. It's gonna be a fun seminar. Looking forward to exchange some ideas with you guys.
Yeah.
Exchange my knowledge with the students. It's gonna be a fun one, man. And if you're in the area, and if you're listening to this, make sure to pull up the giraffe show.
Right on. It's how you do this. Tell everyone how to get at you, and I'd like to put all the information in our show notes. Instagram, whatever you want to tell them, like whatever.
Like you mentioned earlier, I feel like you said you don't say social media anymore. You say Instagram because I'm more. That's like where the only social media I'm like, I'm available. So you can find me by Haisam Rida. And everything that's going on with like my fight news, release of match and other stuff is gonna be on Instagram, like seminar announcement, other stuff, fight announcements, endorsement deals, everything. You wanna reach out through email, through Instagram, Haisam Rida, follow me. Let's get it.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Well, thank you for your time, my man, and I look forward to meeting you face to face.
Thank you for having me. Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely. God bless you, and also in everything that you're doing, man, and that you keep doing. Keep staying after it. Keep staying in there on your trip and all, man.
Yes,
thank you.
I appreciate the time again.
Yep.
Chad, you got anything?
No, we'll see you in a week.
All right, my man. We'll see you, brother. Yep. All right, later.
Peace.